Kia ora, this is Turaukawa Simon Young. I just wanted to give you a behind the scenes of how I developed my pepeha. First of all, I just want to say I am not an expert in any of these fields and I'm always open to learn. So if you are expert in tikanga Māori and I say anything that's not quite tika, please let me know. So what is a pepeha? A pepeha is a way of introducing yourself and making connections in Te Reo Māori, the indigenous language of Aotearoa, New Zealand. There is a standard format that Māori use which includes naming the iwi or tribe that they whakapapa or descend from, along with their mountain, river and ocean. However, it's a bit more complicated for tauiwi or non-Māori. I've been helped a lot by this article in a website called e-Tangata by Keri Opai, called Pepeha for Non-Māori. The link is in the description below. The article helped me understand a lot of things, such as the purpose of a pepeha, not so much for introducing yourself, but instead for making connections. It's a way for Māori to connect with each other based on iwi or hapu, that's sub-tribe connections, and especially for those who haven't been raised in their extended family group to find connection and belonging. It's such a beautiful thing. And yet, what about those of us who are not Māori? Keri Opai kindly put together a template which builds a sense of connection without being presumptuous enough to claim a mountain, river or sea as my own. And by the way, other Māori people have told me, don't worry, go ahead and speak about your mountain, your rivers and sea, but I would rather err on the side of respect than stand with my words where I'm not meant to stand. So, my pepeha, based on the template that Keri Opai developed, goes like this. Tēnā koutou katoa, greetings to you all. Ko ingarangi, ko tirana, airana tia mana toku whakapaparanga mai. I descend from England, Scotland, Ireland and Germany. And here I've added a line that's not in Keri Opai's template, and that is my waka, that's the ships that brought my ancestors to this land. And while those of us descended from the early settlers don't have a tribal identity connected with those ships in the same way that Māori do, I do feel it's important to acknowledge the vessels that have brought me here and where they came from. So there are quite a few, because as we'll be discovering on this channel, I have a lot of information about how my ancestors came here. So the ships are firstly the Oriental, which Wellington's Oriental Bay is named after. We've got the Blenheim, named after a famous battle in Europe, and yes, that's also the name of a province of New Zealand. And both of these ships arrived in Wellington in 1840. The Midlothian, which arrived in Christchurch in 1851. The Lalarook, that has a fascinating name, and we'll be exploring that in a future video, that arrived in 1860. The SS Ionic arrived in 1912, same shipping line as another ick ending ship, the Titanic. And finally, 100 years ago this year, the SS Remuera. So coming back to Keri Opai's template, I continue. Ko titirangi toku whenua tupu. This means the place where I grew up. Titirangi is a suburb of Auckland and the name means fringe of heaven. It's an accurate description. For this next line, I've asked a friend to help me not only say where I live now, but to acknowledge mana whenua, that is, the iwi on whose land I now live. Kei upanuku ahau e noho ana nā reira me mihi a te kawarau a maki ka tika. I live in Henderson and I feel it is right to acknowledge te kawarau a maki. Now I add another new line to explain my connection to the wider Polynesian family. Remember, the pepeha is all about making connections. I moi taku wahine purotu mai I Samoa. My wife comes from Samoa. Now the next part is a new development that I added since our general election. I'm grateful to Turaukawa Bartlett, a Māori language teacher, for sharing this declaration on his LinkedIn, which I've incorporated into my pepeha. Kia mihia te whenua, te tangata whenua, me te reo ake o te whenua. Ko Turaukawa Simon Young toku ingoa, he tangata tiriti ahau, toi tū te tiriti mō ngā mokopuna. And that means, may the land, its people, and its indigenous language be acknowledged. My name is Turaukawa Simon Young. I am tangata tiriti. Long stand te tiriti o Waitangi for our grandchildren's benefit. And finally, I close the loop with the ending from Keri Opai's template. I began with Tēnā koutou katoa, greetings to you all. And I close with greetings to us all, tēnā tātou katoa. So that's the behind the scenes of how I made my pepeha. I hope you find it helpful. As I've said, it's not only a way for me to introduce myself, but also to invite and make connections. So I encourage you to do so respectfully in the comments below. Kia ora.